Hello everyone, my name is David. Today we are going to take a look at another horrible case with you. Even today's time in India, arranged marriages are given more importance, and most of the people are also happy in these marriages. However, on the other hand, if a man and a woman truly love each other, then they can also get married against the wishes of their families. Something similar happened with Pratibha and Abhishek, who got married against their families' wishes. But then, in the year 2016, their love story takes a turn that ends everything. Pratibha Gautam's hometown was the city of Orai in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is known for its rich culture and tradition, which is why this state attracts many national and international tourists. Orai city is especially famous for its religious significance, and it is in this city that Pratibha was born into a middle-class family. Pratibha's father had a modest job in a bank, but he always supported his daughter in getting a good education from the beginning. Since childhood, Pratibha was a bright student and had a great interest in studying, which made her aspire to achieve something big in her life. During her high school years, Pratibha developed an interest in studying law. Now, Pratibha had to become a lawyer, so she moved to another city in Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, to study law. Simply because Lucknow is a center for education and research, with many prominent institutions located in and around the city. Now living in Lucknow, Pratibha completed her Bachelor of Legislative Law Studies, short form LLB. After completing her graduation, Pratibha realized that by obtaining an LLM, a Master's in Laws, she could become a judge. If Pratibha became a judge, her family's financial condition would improve, and Pratibha would also have a status in her city. After completing her graduation in Lucknow, Pratibha moved to Delhi to start her LLM studies. However, Pratibha didn't stop there. After completing her LLM course, she started preparing for judicial services. During coaching institute preparation, Pratibha met a boy named Manu Abhishek Rajan. While Pratibha belonged to a middle-class family, Abhishek's family was very wealthy. There's no confirmation about the date, but Pratibha and Abhishek's first meeting took place in 2013. Their friendship growing during coaching, and a few months later this friendship turned into love. For quite some time, they dated each other and met in secrecy from their families' eyes. But after some time, they decided that they would now get married. But cracking this exam was very important before marriage. This exam is conducted by the Uttar Pradesh Public Service Commission, and if they both pass this exam, they could both become judges. Pratibha clears this exam and gets selected. But Abhishek fails in this exam and his dream remains incomplete. Yet, despite this, there is no shortage of love between the two, to the extent that Pratibha stays away from Abhishek for quite some time to train as a judge. It is during this time that Pratibha and Abhishek both decide to discuss their marriage with their families. Afterward, Pratibha first tells her parents that she has fallen in love with a boy and wants to marry him. On the other hand, Abhishek also discusses marrying Pratibha with his family, but they also oppose the marriage. In fact, Pratibha's family insisted that their daughter should marry a high-ranking officer, while Abhishek's family had issues regarding Pratibha's caste. By now, both of them knew that their families were not accepting of their marriage. However, despite this, they do not separate from each other, and their love remains strong. After Pratibha completes her training, in the year 2015, she is posted as an additional civil judge in Greater Kanpur. Greater Kanpur is actually a district in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Upon securing a government job for their daughter, Pratibha's parents are very happy. With the job, Pratibha also gets government housing as she becomes an additional civil judge. However, due to this job, the distance between Pratibha and Abhishek increased significantly. Abhishek was preparing for law practice while residing in Delhi, and Pratibha was working her job in Kanpur. They were approximately 300 miles apart, yet occasionally Pratibha would visit Delhi to meet Abhishek, and sometimes Abhishek would come to Kanpur to meet Pratibha. Perhaps even their families were unaware that they met each other, even while hiding from their families' eyes. Then comes January 29, 2016. Abhishek and Pratibha, without informing their families, got married in a temple in Delhi. In Hindu culture in India, a boy and a girl can also get married in a temple, and it is legally recognized. Since their families were not accepting this marriage, they didn't have any other option. After getting married, they informed their families about this marriage, but both families were not accepting it. However, for the next several days, both of them continued to persuade their families about this marriage. The outcome was that after a few days, Abhishek's family accepted this marriage, but Pratibha's family was still very angry with their daughter's actions. Then, 2 months later, on April 23, 2016, they planned a party in Delhi for their friends and some special relatives. Everyone attended the party except Pratibha's family. Now they had decided to stay away from their families, and after getting married in Delhi, they both moved into Pratibha's government accommodation for a few days. This house was in Kanpur's Circuit House colony, where the city's top officers used to reside. After staying in this house for a few days, Abhishek returned to Delhi to resume his job. But then, on the morning of October 9, 2016, something happened with Pratibha that shook Pratibha and Abhishek's family. Actually, early on the morning of October 9th, Abhishek came to her official residence in his car to meet his wife, Pratibha. However, despite ringing the doorbell several times, Pratibha did not open the door. This seemed very strange to Abhishek, because if Pratibha was going somewhere or going to work, she would have locked the door from the outside, not inside. Therefore, Abhishek thought that if the door was locked from the inside, it was possible that Pratibha was inside. For this reason, he tried to break the door to go inside, and the latch of the door broke in 3 or 4 blows. After that, when Abhishek went inside the house in a distressed state, he saw his wife hanging from the ceiling fan in her room. In addition to this, both her hands were also cut, and there was a lot of blood spread in the room. Seeing this, Abhishek was very scared, and in a panic, he took down the body. Then, around 9:00 in the morning, Abhishek went to the police station, which was about 2 miles from Pratibha's house. Upon reaching there, he told the police everything he had seen with his own eyes, and when the police found out that Pratibha was the civil judge of that area, the police's field unit team immediately went to Pratibha's house. When the police saw the crime scene, at that time Pratibha's body was lying on the ground. In response to which, Abhishek said that when I saw my wife in that condition, I didn't understand anything, so I took down the body in panic. Now Abhishek was also completely shattered from within, because his marriage had not even been a year. A scarf was hanging around Pratibha's neck, and both her hands were cut. Meanwhile, the forensic team arrives at the crime scene and carefully examines every detail. By now, this incident had also been covered by local news channels, causing mourning not only in Kanpur, but also in Pratibha's hometown of Orai. At first glance at Pratibha's condition, it seemed like she had committed suicide. But as the forensic team investigates the crime scene thoroughly, gradually some revelations begin to emerge that make it seem like this case might not be one of suicide after all. The first question was whether if someone is about to commit suicide, they would either cut their wrist veins or hang themselves. Because when the wrist veins are cut, a lot of blood flows from the veins, causing the person to lose consciousness most of the time. And in this condition, how can they hang themselves? But in Pratibha's case, her wrist veins were also cut with something sharp. When the forensic team removed the scarf from Pratibha's neck, they also found marks of something sharp on her neck. Looking at all these cut marks, it seemed as if they were made by a razor blade. Meanwhile, Pratibha's parents also come to her house because the police had informed them during the initial investigation. Upon seeing Pratibha's body, her parents burst into tears. After that, Pratibha's body is sent for post-mortem. Before the post-mortem report arrives, the forensic team suspected that this case might not be a suicide at all. In fact, the forensic team first observed the fan on which Pratibha's body was hanging. According to forensic experts, the fan from which Pratibha was found hanging was not strong enough to bear her weight. Moreover, the only way Abhishek could have entered the house was by breaking the main door. However, upon examining the door, the police discovered that its latch was not broken. According to Abhishek's statement, he enters the house only after breaking the main door. But now the police are not convinced by Abhishek's statement, because if someone breaks the door and enters the house, the latch is completely broken. However, nothing like this happened in Pratibha's house. Now the police begin to suspect Abhishek, so they start questioning him. Then the senior superintendent of police asks Abhishek some basic questions. But Abhishek starts narrating his last day full history, saying, "I came from Delhi to Kanpur to meet my wife. You can check my toll road slip and also see my car in the CCTV footage there. Besides, I also called my wife several times before coming to Kanpur. You can check my call details." It seems Abhishek started giving so many details without any reason, even though the police weren't asking him many questions. Since this incident, the police have become suspicious of Abhishek, and now Abhishek is the prime suspect in the eyes of the police. The question arose that Abhishek himself was a lawyer, and he knew that he shouldn't tamper with the crime scene too much, otherwise a lot of evidence could be destroyed, but despite this, he had brought down Pratibha's body from the ceiling fan. The question also arose that Abhishek could have called the police, but he himself went to the police station. In response, Abhishek said he was very confused and didn't know what to do. In addition, Pratibha's parents also accused Abhishek and his family of their daughter's death. Pratibha's parents also said that Abhishek used to stop Pratibha from talking to them, and besides this, Abhishek also demanded dowry, which made Pratibha very unhappy. Now, on October 9th, Pratibha's parents filed a case against Abhishek and his family for their daughter's murder. Pratibha's father said, "Either Abhishek murdered Pratibha, or he was forced to commit suicide." On closer inspection, everything seemed fine in Pratibha's life. She was a self-dependent girl. She spent 5 years away from her family in Lucknow, and she lived in Delhi for 6 years. During this time, Pratibha faced a lot of struggles, and now she had also found her dream job. So the question is, why hardworking Pratibha commits suicide? Well, now the police received the post-mortem report, which states that Pratibha's death was due to suffocation. However, besides that, there were numerous wounds on Pratibha's body. It seemed like there were blows on her body with a stick, and in addition to that, there were 14 marks of razor blades on both wrist and 3 marks on her neck. But what surprises the police the most from this report is the revelation that Pratibha was 3.5 months pregnant. After this disclosure, the police are 80% confirmed that Pratibha did not commit suicide because a pregnant woman rarely takes such a dangerous step. Usually, the police get custody of any person for 7 to 14 days. But in this case, the pressure on the police was so high that they only got custody of Abhishek for 7 hours. In fact, Abhishek's father was a retired judge, and besides that, Abhishek's sister was a lawyer in a district court in Delhi, and 7 of Abhishek's relatives were in judicial service. On the other hand, after conducting the post-mortem, Pratibha's body is handed over to her relatives. Meanwhile, the police start questioning Abhishek, and during this time, Abhishek's phone is also seized. After reading the chat between him and Pratibha, the police learn a lot. At this point, the police were 100% confirmed that Pratibha did not commit suicide, but was murdered, and Pratibha's murder was not committed by anyone else but her husband, Abhishek Rajan himself. After that, the police interrogate Abhishek rigorously, where within a few hours Abhishek admits that he himself committed Pratibha's murder. But when Abhishek was asked about the motive behind this murder, he told the police a story. Actually, when Abhishek married Pratibha, her parents were against this marriage from that day. However, after some time, both of them seemed to forget all these things and started living happily. But then, about 5 months after the wedding, Pratibha informed Abhishek that they were going to be parents. This news didn't make much of a difference to Abhishek, but Pratibha was very happy. However, Pratibha also shared this good news with her parents, and Pratibha's mother was so happy with this news that she wanted to meet her daughter now. But on the other hand, Abhishek was thinking that Pratibha's parents also didn't consider him as son-in-law. Additionally, Pratibha held a higher position than Abhishek, and when a child is born, the responsibility on him increases even more. But Abhishek didn't want to take on these responsibilities yet, so he told Pratibha, "Both of our careers have just begun, and we should only focus on our careers for now. You should get an abortion, and we can plan about children later." But Pratibha didn't agree with Abhishek because she was very happy with the news of the child and was ready to become a mother. But because of this reason, an argument started between the two, and since then, Abhishek has started stop Pratibha from talking to her parents. On October 1st, 2016, Abhishek went to the hill station with his friends, and he was supposed to return to Delhi on the 8th. Meanwhile, on October 8th, Pratibha also arrived in Delhi by train, where Abhishek came to pick her up at the Delhi railway station. However, on the way home, there was a heated argument between the two about an abortion issue. This led Pratibha to ask Abhishek to stop the car, and she left for Kanpur from there. By this time, Abhishek was extremely angry with his wife, so he contemplated killing Pratibha right there. With this wicked idea in mind, Abhishek left in his car for Kanpur, and after driving continuously for 8 to 9 hours, he arrived in Kanpur. Then, between 5 to 5:30 in the morning, Abhishek reached the Circuit House colony. Pratibha was very surprised to see him at her house first. After that, there were heated arguments between the two, and when Abhishek got very angry, he began to beat Pratibha with a thick stick. Then, he held a razor blade and first cut Pratibha's throat, and then cut the veins of her wrists. Finally, when he realized that Pratibha's breath was still going on, he choked her with her own scarf, which led to her death shortly thereafter. After this, Abhishek tried to hang Pratibha from the ceiling fan to make the whole incident look like suicide, but he failed in doing so. The astonishing part is that after that, Abhishek sat beside his wife Pratibha's corpse and thinking how he could escape from the police. During this time, he deleted all threatening and abortion-related messages from Pratibha's phone, but forgot to delete all the messages from his own phone. Then around 9 hours in the morning, Abhishek went to the police station, and you already know the rest of the story. But the tragic aspect of this story was that the girl who went against her family and married her lover ultimately get a painful death by that same lover. However, in the end, Abhishek was acquitted, and his parents were also acquitted. But after this revelation, Abhishek's parents fled at the opportune moment. Subsequently, the court issued arrest warrants against them. But on October 18th, both fugitives appeared in the Kanpur court. In addition to this, Abhishek applied for bail several times, even up to the Session Court, High Court, and Supreme Court, but his application was rejected by every court. However, in April 2022, Abhishek was granted bail by the High Court. The case is still ongoing in the Kanpur Session Court, and the accused is yet to be sentenced. But the sad part is that the police had both physical and digital evidence to convict Abhishek, yet it took so much time for the accused to be sentenced. If there are any updates in this case, we will inform you through the community posts of the David True Crime channel. So with that, the Pratibha Gautam murder case comes to an end right here. Friends, I have a small request for you. I want to let you know that behind the David True Crime channel, there is a team of 5 people who work hard to bring you the best quality content through thorough research. If you appreciate our efforts, you can support us according to your preference by visiting the link provided in the description. Your small support will motivate us to work effectively on the channel. Thank you. Additionally, if you want to recommend any Indian case for us to make a detailed video on, you can write the name of that case in the comment section. If you appreciate our efforts, like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. Thank you.